Why 90% of people are broke? How to break free from poverty? If you make over $200,000 a year, congratulations, you're in the top 10% of earners in society. But here's the shocking part. Even at that level, most people are still broke. I'm talking about people driving $80,000 cars they can't afford, living in houses with mortgages that eat up half their income, and having less than $1,000 in savings despite earning more than 90% of the population. It's not how much money you make that determines your wealth. It's what you do with it. And that's why 90% of people, no matter how hard they work or how much they earn, stay broke. Today, I'm breaking down the real reasons this happens and how you can escape this trap. Let me tell you about Sarah. 5 years ago, she made $45,000 and somehow saved $500 every month driving a used Honda Civic. Today, she makes $120,000 as a marketing director, but she's saving less money now than when she made $45,000. Why? Because now she needs a BMW lease payment. She deserves a luxury apartment. Her expenses grew with her income. This is lifestyle inflation, and it's the #1 wealth killer. Every time people get a raise, they don't ask, how can I save more? They ask, what can I afford now? Instead of keeping expenses steady and investing the difference, people expand their lifestyle to match their new income. The raise doesn't make them richer, it just makes their bills bigger. The wealthy do the opposite. When their income goes up, most of that extra money goes straight into investments. That's how you actually build wealth. Lesson 2. Confusing income with wealth. Most people think high income equals wealth. This is the biggest financial misconception out there.
Meet Mike, a neurosurgeon making $500,000 a year. Sounds wealthy, right? But Mike has $200,000 in student loans, a $1.2 million mortgage, 2 car payments, and credit card debt. Despite his massive income, he's living paycheck to paycheck, just with more expensive paychecks.
Now meet Jennifer, an elementary school teacher making $55,000. But Jennifer started investing $300. A month at age 25, she bought a modest house and drives a reliable used car. At 45, Jennifer has a net worth of $400,000 and growing, who's actually wealthy. Wealth isn't about what you earn. It's about what you keep, what you invest, and what grows over time. Income gives you options. Wealth gives you freedom. Don't confuse the two. Lesson 3. The financial education gap. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Schools teach us how to work for money, but not how money works. You can graduate with a PhD and still have no clue about investing. You can be brilliant enough to perform brain surgery, but not understand compound interest. This creates educated broke people, individuals who are incredibly smart in their field, but financially illiterate. I know a software engineer making $180,000 who kept all his money in a savings account for 8 years because he thought the stock market was too risky. Meanwhile, inflation was eating away 2 to 3% of his purchasing power every year. Without financial education, even high earners make devastating mistakes. They don't understand tax optimization. They fall for get-rich schemes. They don't grasp the power of compound interest. Most people spend more time researching Netflix shows than learning about personal finance. But financial education isn't rocket science. The basics can be learned in a few months. Remember, money doesn't grow by accident, it grows by strategy. Lesson 4. Debt culture, the modern trap. Let's talk about something that's become so normal we don't question it. Debt culture. Credit cards for everything. 7-year car loans. Buy, now, pay, later for a $50 purchase. Society has made it incredibly easy to live on borrowed money, but debt is like a silent tax on your future. Instead of your money working for you, you're working for the bank. Here's what really happens. Buy a $30,000 car with a 6% loan over 5 years. You're not paying $30,000. You're paying about $34,800. That extra $4,800 could have been invested, but it gets worse. If you had invested that $30,000 in the stock market and gotten a 7% return, after 5 years, you'd have about $42,000. So that car decision didn't just cost you $30,000, it cost you the opportunity to have $42,000. The wealthy understand that every dollar going to debt service is a dollar that can't work for them, so they minimize debt and maximize investments. Most people never escape the debt cycle because as soon as they pay off one thing, they finance something else. Lesson 5. Emotional spending. Let's get real. Most people don't spend money logically, they spend it emotionally. Sad, shopped happy, shopped stressed, retail therapy, bored, browse and buy. The problem is money becomes an emotional bandage instead of a wealth-building tool. Someone has a bad day and orders $60 of stuff they don't need. Someone gets a bonus and immediately books an expensive vacation instead of investing it. Someone feels insecure and buys designer clothes. These emotional purchases add up to thousands of dollars a year, money that could have been building wealth. If it's emotional, give yourself 24 hours. Often, the urge passes. At the end of the day, you want assets that grow, not clutter that depreciates. Lesson 6, which is the final lesson, fear of investing. Most people stay broke because they're too scared to invest. They'd rather let money sit in savings earning 0.5% while inflation eats away 3% every year. They think they're being safe, but they're guaranteeing they'll lose money. Here's the reality. The biggest risk isn't investing, it's doing nothing while time passes. $10,000 in savings for 20 years at 0.5% gives you $11,000. But with inflation, that buying power is only about $6,000 today. You literally lost money. But that same $10,000 invested at 7% returns gives you $38,700 in 20 years. Real wealth growth. The wealthy understand that time in the market beats timing the market. Yes, there will be ups and downs. But over time, the market rewards patience and punishes fear. The solution, breaking free. So how do you escape the 90% and join the wealth builders? First, audit your situation honestly. Look at your spending, debt, and savings rate without judgment. Just see it clearly. Second, invest in financial education. The basics aren't complicated, but they require learning. Third, automate your wealth building. Set up automatic investments so money is invested before you can spend it emotionally. Fourth, increase the gap between earning and spending. This happens by earning more, spending less, or both. Fifth, think long-term with every financial decision. Ask, will this help me build wealth or keep me broke? This is Better and Richer, where we break down the strategies that separate the wealthy from everyone else. If this opened your eyes, hit subscribe and the notification bell. My challenge for you, implement one thing from today's video this week. Your financial future is in your hands. Click the next video on your screen to continue learning.